Lena Buckle-Fraser is visiting the graves of 2 of her children and a grandchild. All, she says, are victims of dioxin exposure.
You've been affected by that rotten bloody Agent Orange. That was your downfall.
The local elder blames the deaths on herbicide sprayed in the Kimberley about 30 years ago.
Well, it was in our yard, and that smell was there all the time.
Where were the chemicals stored? On the drums?
On the other side was...
That way?
Yeah.
Lena used to live here with her 5 children, next door to where she says trucks carrying the chemicals were stored.
Well, all the residue from the drums used to get washed off, and there was a hollow here. There was a hollow here.
Yeah.
With a clothesline.
Yeah.
And it was always full of water, up to about there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because it was hot, they'd play in the water.
Yeah, play in the water.
Her son Lance had first-hand exposure. He was among hundreds of Aboriginal workers in the 70s and 80s who sprayed weeds, using the now-banned chemical 2,4,5-T, an ingredient of the toxic cocktail Agent Orange, as well as a rogue batch of chemicals in unmarked drums that the workers believe were surplus from the Vietnam War.
This is my daughter, Catherine.
Lance and his sister Catherine both died from cancer before they reached 45. Lena also blames the chemicals for the death of her grandson, Kingsley.
He was playing in that water, and that stagnant, stinking water from those chemicals, that used to wash off the trucks.
The weather for the Kimberleys today, a ridge of high pressure.
According to Lena, the toxic legacy doesn't end there. She believes her granddaughter, a local radio presenter in Derby, is also a victim, although the 32-year-old herself is less convinced.
All I know is that, my mum always washed Dad's clothes all the time. And, of course, the chemical goes through other clothes.
Serena Buckle was 15 when her father Lance died, and today she still doesn't know what caused her rare disability.
I'm thinking to myself, well, why didn't my hand grow, why didn't it grow more? Because they had little fingers on here and even little nails.
It's a tragedy that Ron Delvin can relate to. He led one of the spraying groups, often mixing the toxic herbicide himself.
And this was a young Jenny?
Yeah, that was about 17-year-old when she was in Perth. Absolutely awesome basketballer.
Ron lost both his wife and their unborn child, who was diagnosed with a birth defect similar to spina bifida. Jenny survived 2 brutal surgeries to treat her tongue cancer. In the end, she died from side effects of radiation therapy.
So she died at home alone by herself. And yeah, that was a very, very sad day. Yeah.
For respected Derby elder Lucy Marshall, the saga has dragged on too long.
Of course I'm angry. I've got to be angry. You can't just put it aside, no way.
Her son Cyril Hunter was a fit young man when he started working for the Agricultural Protection Board. In 1983, he was the first of the workers to die.
He went to sleep, the doctor told me. I said, you expect me to believe you that?
Then in 2013, Lucy lost her grandson. Cyril's son died from cancer at 31 years old.
And do you think it had something to do with Nigel's death?
Yes, it is very strong. You can kill the leaves, green leaves in trees.
The families affected believe the chemicals are to blame for a wide range of conditions, including cancer, blindness and deafness, even diabetes. Many of them have signed up with a Perth law firm that plans to reopen the case.
To see the damage that has been caused directly and indirectly as a result of the exposure, largely Aboriginal workers encountered just going about their employment with the APB is truly saddening.
Only 8 out of 70 workers and their dependents have been compensated under a government scheme launched in 2004. Mr Lowry says the compensation that was awarded was inadequate.
They've been shepherded out the door with a bit of a payment of something that in legal terms is referred to as go-away money.
The legal firm says it's also looking at cases of illness among children and grandchildren of workers, but it admits proving generational exposure will be tough. There's still no hard statistical evidence linking dioxin exposure to particular conditions, despite a general acceptance that the toxins can be transferred to children.
We now know that there is transgenerational inheritance from exposure to herbicides.
Andrew Harper conducted the first state government inquiry into the spraying program in 2002. He says the government should set up an independent fund to help address the family's concerns.
And I think the first issue is to address their concern, their anxiety, their fear. They want firstly to have it acknowledged that they were exposed to these chemicals in a most irresponsible fashion. I mean, these chemicals washed around the place in these people's lives.
The United States offers benefits to Vietnam veterans who've been exposed to Agent Orange for a range of illnesses. Children of veterans are also covered for some birth defects. WA's current Minister for Agriculture, Ken Baston, says if claimants have new information, he'll examine it.
A lot of the families are even just asking for recognition. Do you think that's something that might need to be looked at?
Oh, recognition, I don't know. I think recognition always, is a way of saying, well, that maybe the decision was wrong.
Here in Derby, more than anything, it seems they simply want closure so they can finally move on.
They put it as past tense. So what do you do? Go on with the flow and just say, oh, that happened? But then we still see photos, we still think what happened to our children. What else can you do?